So far we have understood the fundamentals of programming in Java, wherein we discussed about what are primitives, how do we work with data, or working with numbers, characters, boolean, and then we understood type conversion, how do you convert one type of data into another type of data. Then we understood about operations, how do you perform operations on data using arithmetic operators, increment, decrement, then relational operators, logical operators, etc. Then we tried understanding how do we use conditional statement, if else statement, switch statement, then working with loops and all the stuff. So in this session, we'll try to solve some problems using these fundamental concepts in Java or whatever we learned so far. We'll try to solve some of the very important coding challenges that will be asked in interviews, especially for beginners. The first programming challenge or the coding challenge we'll discuss is printing prime numbers from 1 to 100 or 1 to n, right? So suppose you want to give what is the limit, or 1 to 1000, 1 to 10,000. So how do you basically print the prime numbers from 1 to 1000? But before that, first let us understand what do you mean by a prime number. A number which is divisible by 1 and by itself is called as a prime number. So we know the definition of a prime number, but how do you identify or how do you print that a given number is a prime number using program? So before understanding that, let us first understand the logic behind how do you basically consider a number as a prime number.
Hey, thanks for watching our content so far. If you're new to Training Mark, we're the fastest growing technology training company and create content to help freshers like you to master the disruptive technologies like full stack development, AML, cloud, DevOps, etc. If you like the content so far, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon not to miss any new content from us. Like and share this video with all your friends. Let's build your career and the community together.
Let us understand the logic behind finding a prime number, or how do you identify a number as a prime number, right? So now if you can see a prime number, right, a number which is divisible by 1 and then by itself is called as a prime number. So it should not be divisible by any in between number. Let us take an example. Suppose you take a simple example 5, and to decide this 5 whether it is a prime number or not, what we have to do? So now you have numbers from 1 to 5. So let me take in between 2, 3, 4, 5. So to decide whether number 5 is a prime number or not, it should not be divisible any number between 1 and that number. So we know that universally any number will be divisible by 1 and any number will be divisible by itself. So we don't need to check this because it is already proved that a number is divisible by 1, a number is divisible by itself. But what I need to do is, I need to basically check whether it is not divisible by these in between numbers. If it is divisible by any one of these number, then it is not going to be a prime number. So it is not going to be a prime number. Now how do we do that? So first, to print prime numbers from 1 to 100, let us break down this into two parts. The first part is we'll take one number and then we'll try to understand whether it is a prime or not. Then the same logic will repeat from numbers from 1 to 100. Anyway, this 1 is not a prime number. Now if you can look at the prime numbers, we'll start from 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 and so on, right? So first we'll check whether from number 2 to the upper cap, that whatever you give, whether it is a prime number or not, right? So any number that is a prime number or not, what do you need to do? First we need to take a loop counter. I should be initialized to 2, and then suppose if this is number, you are giving it as 5, right? So now I need to check whether this number divisible by I or not. Divisible by I means what? Divisible by this 2 or I means I need to use this reminder symbol and check whether this is divisible by or not, right? So if this condition is true, right, in between numbers, right? So now here what I need to do, I need to write a while loop which says which says the I should be less than number. I should not run this loop till equals, because I don't need to check whether it is equal or not. I need to just check less than this number. So the number before this number. So the loop I need to continue till I less than number. If this is this, then I can say it is not a prime number. I don't need to print it. Okay. Now when it will become a prime number, suppose it run through all these loop, it is not executed, then I will become this number, right? So when I reach to this number, or when I become this number, then I can say it is a prime number. So after running this loop, I'll check if I equals number, if it is reached to this stage, if it is incremented to this stage, right? Every time I checked it and then I incremented, right? I plus plus. So if it is not divisible by, every time it will be incremented. So definitely the value will be 5 once the loop completes the execution. If this is equals, then I can say this is a prime number. Guys, this is not the only solution to find out it is a prime number. You'll find out a lot of different solutions out there in internet. So there's no single solution to solve a problem, but it is very important to crack the logic. What is the logic behind it? So whenever somebody asks you to solve a problem, don't start writing the code. First, try to understand the problem statement and take an example and try to arrive at a particular logic. And once you arrive at a particular logic, then write some pseudo code or basic algorithm, something like this. So when you feel that this code will work, then only you start writing the code in the IDE. A lot of beginners will do this mistake. They don't try to understand the problem statement correctly, or nor they don't try to find out the proper logic. Without that, they'll start writing the code and then the code will mess up. They don't understand what is actually happening in the code, and that's why they cannot solve the problem. So it's not that straightforward or an easy task that how I'm telling it, but gradually over a period of time, whenever you practice, so definitely you'll arrive to a stage to understand whether this code works fine or not. Right? So first we tried understanding this logic. Now let us start coding this in IntelliJ. To demonstrate this, I'm now taking a new Java class and then I'll say this as print prime numbers. Okay. So now here you can write the code from 1 to 100, or you can write the code from 1 to the limit or whatever. So now I'll say print prime numbers from 1 to n. N is a limit, right? So now this limit will take it. So for this one, what I do, I'll take a scanner. C is equal to new scanner of system.in, and so now let me take this limit here. So now what I do here, I'll just take this as max limit or just limit or whatever. So now sc dot next int. Now this what is the number that they want to enter, or if you want to print from 1 to 100, now the value that what you need to enter is 100, right? So now I need an outer loop to run it from 2 to the max number. So now what I do here, I'm just now creating a variable number is equal to 2, right? Now I'm just running it from number less than or equals. This is outer loop. So till the number whatever the max limit that you have, till that you want to run. So this is what is the outer loop. So for every number it will increment till this number, and then now here I need to basically write code to check the number is a prime or not, right? So it is a prime number or not, right? So how do I check? So now again we'll just understand this loop. Right? So now what I need to do, again I need to start with 2. You might ask a question like why I did not initialize this with 1 or 0, because 0 is not a prime number, 1 is not a prime number. Now the prime numbers actually start with 2. So that's why I just took the number from 2 to the limit, right? And similarly, to check a number which is a prime number or not, so again I need to take an inner loop which also will start with 2. So this should increment till the less than of this number, right? So now this is what is a number. So what I do here, I'm now taking a local variable here saying integer number is equal to 2 again. Now I'll say while this number less than the outer number. So from 2 it will start, and then it will check for 3, check for 4, check for 5. So every time the number, till that number I need to increment. So that's the reason I just select this number less than number, right? So now what I do, if the number, because it is initialized to 2, and then till the number less than, it should be incremented. So now I'll say if number divisible by this number is equal to 0, then it is not a prime number, right? So with number 2 it is divisible, then it is not a prime number. So what I can do, I can simply break here, right? So if it is divisible by any number, just break here. Otherwise what I do, I will just increment my number, right? So now if it is not divisible by 2, let us take this 5, right? So now number 5, 2 less than 5 true, 5 remainder 2 not equal to 0. Then this condition is false, so it will increment number. Then it will check with 3. Then it will check with 4. So when it is 5, the loop will end. So when the loop will end, it will definitely, if number double equals to number, the local variable of this number, if it is definitely becoming this number, means it is not true with any one of the in between value. So then only the number will become this number. So if that is there, then I can say that, okay, I will just print this number. That's it, the outer number. The outer number is a prime now. I can guaranteedly say that, right? So this is how it will be done. So for 2 less than or equal to 100, then 2 less than this one, right? So because number is 2, so then by default it prints 2. For 3 it will check like that, 4, 5, 6. So till number, that whatever you give, it is now going to check and then see whether it is a prime number or not. If it is a prime, then only we are printing, otherwise we are just simply breaking it, right? So now let me run this. Then first it will ask me, hey, can you enter the limit? So let me enter 100 just to see. Okay, now what is the problem here, guys? See, the problem here is, it is now printing 2. I did not increment the outer number, right? Every time I need to increment the outer number. That's why it is leading to infinite value. So I'll just stop this. And now after this, now I'll say my number plus plus. So I need to increment the number as well, right? So now let me run this. So now it will ask for entering the max limit. So I'm entering 100. Now you see that it printed all the prime numbers from 97. Suppose if you want to print within the same line, what do? You just use print, and then when you print, it is now going to print within the same line. Okay, I'll show you what is the output that you'll get. If I print 100, you see it prints all these things in a single line, which looks like a single number, but it's not the single number. So what I do, in order to differentiate, I'm adding some spaces here, guys. Okay, now if you want to print within the same line, we use print. Okay, println means you want to print it in new line. That's where you use println. If I want to print within the same line, so now I'm printing, then I'm giving some space. Okay, something like that. So now let me run this. So now what you do, you'll get some space here. When I enter 100, see, you're getting some space, 2 space 3, or instead of space, you want to print comma, or whatever you want to, right? So this will be appended and then will be printed, right? So now I'm entering 100, so it just print all the prime numbers, right? Suppose I want to print from 1 to 1000, so you can enter 1000 here, so it will print all the prime numbers within this 1000 range, right? So this is what one of the most frequently asked questions for beginners in coding interviews.